Hey everybody, it is the 8th of June 2020. It is Monday. I'm Scott L. Miller. This is the Sheep Guarding Llama vlog. You are the sheeples, and let's get right to it. First day of the work week. Kind of busy, wasn't too bad. Did a bit of editing this morning because today we're getting episode 4 of Take Flight with Scott up on YouTube, which of course I'm quite excited about. That is a lot of work that goes into each one of those. About 4 or 5 days of editing. Valentina does some with the graphics, and I got to pick out music and get all the editing done, and it takes a lot of back and forth of, because my computer's too slow, I've got to get it compressed, put it on the TV, watch it, go back, make fixes. And this one I think is the most polished. It's the first time I'm doing ultra widescreen. I'm doing some cool music transitions. I've got a lot more all the air conditioning stopped. A lot more voiceovers than I've done in the past. It's the longest one yet. It's the first one I think that really accommodates end screens from YouTube and handles that well. Just a lot of stuff, a lot of polish went into it. And unfortunately, I had to do all the voiceovers myself. It works better when Dominica and I go back and forth. She was out of town. I didn't want to wait a week because she's not going to do that when she gets back. She's not going to be happy at all having work to do, so just took care of it myself. But worked on that in between working on work stuff this morning, and then during the afternoon. It takes about 3 hours if I'm lucky to be able to compress the full 4K UHD 45 megabits per second data stream version of the video so that I can upload to YouTube. So that had to go all afternoon. I had to do several run-throughs of the final polish to make sure that I liked everything, and then watch the final before it gets uploaded. Then about 5 o'clock, managed to get it actually uploaded, had to post it to most of the places that it was up, and let people know that it was out there, had to do all the write-ups and stuff on it. That actually takes several hours to get all of that stuff done. Got that all done, and let people know that it was there. So a lot of that going on this evening. The girls and I watched the original Jurassic Park together tonight. Liesel kind of remembers it a little bit, and Luciana I don't think has ever seen it, but neither of them knew it. I had wanted to watch Jurassic Park 5, but Liesel didn't want to watch that because she couldn't remember the original, and she didn't feel like watching anything tonight anyway. And then Luciana was like, well, I'll watch the original. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I sat down and watched that because it really is one of the greatest films ever. I don't know if it's in my top 10, but it's definitely in my great films of history list. Love it. Love the acting, the story. It's got some cheesy parts, but so many good lines, and the music is just incredible, and special effects still work great today. It looks every bit as good as the current ones. So we watched that. Luciana was not happy because she just can't handle anybody dying in a movie, even if they're bad people. So that, not her cup of tea. She wasn't scared. She just finds it depressing. Liesel just kind of ended up joining us, so we all watched it together. So it was a nice movie night for all of us. Unfortunately, in the evening, Luciana discovered, so she came running into the room. There's something buzzing on the window. I'm worried it's a wasp, and I'm like, there's no way there's a wasp in the room. It's my bedroom because she hangs out during the day. So I go in there and I'm like, see, oh, that's totally a wasp. Yep. Never ever have we had a wasp in the house, and Luciana of course I don't believe her. Luckily I went in there, and it was probably a mud dauber, but it was a real wasp on the window. I managed to spray it with a couple things. I hunted it with a fly swatter. I never managed to kill it. At some point I think it disappeared. So I don't know where it went. I don't know if I actually sprayed it with enough stuff and it died, or I sprayed it with enough stuff and it was annoyed, and however it got there it went back. I don't know, but I think it's gone. But that was that adventure for the night, in addition to the movie. And I also on my own watched the third Jason Bourne movie today, just because I've been in the mood for that, because Liesel and I watched the first one a couple nights ago, and it's neat to watch them as a trilogy because they're good movies. And that is pretty much the Monday. Dominica is planning on coming back tomorrow. We'll wait and see for sure, but that is the current plan at this time. It's about a 12-hour drive, so I'm assuming she's going to try to do it all in one day, but not 100% sure. And we have no particular further news from Nicaragua at this time, but we're really sticking to, at this point, we think there's almost no chance it's going to make sense to do anything before we go down there and look at stuff ourselves and deal with things in person. It's just coming up so soon. It's like, why rush it at this point when we could be there and do everything ourselves and not have to worry about other people's opinions of the quality of a property and other people's description of a view and fuzzy pictures from a phone to try to show us stuff. It just not worth it. We're going to be there pretty soon and deal with it in person because there's a good chance this is going to be a property that we have for the rest of our lives, right? This is not a location where we're compromising because, I mean, it is to some degree, right? But we chose Texas because I had a job that brought me to Texas, and family isn't real far away, and we do really like Dallas, but at no point were we like the United States is really our premier destination of where we want to live. It's just where we grew up and where I had work. And then we didn't buy this house to be our house here. We had a house in New York at the time. We didn't know how long we were going to be in Texas. Our original plan was we were only supposed to be in Texas about 3 years before we moved to Europe. Bonus points for those who noticed that that's actually what we did. But we ended up moving back, which was not the plan. We said all this house stuff. So this house was always kind of a compromise as to location and whether we should have it and just a lot of things. And we love Carrollton, and Texas has been great, and this house has worked out for us. And certainly the kids are going to miss it when we leave. But it was always this, well, this is what was good for the time. And buying a house in Nicaragua, to some degree, is also like that because we need to be close to family and we need the ability to come back, and we got to do work in the time zone and deal with a lot of work stuff. So there's still work and family factors that are making San Juan del Sur be where we're looking at going at this time. But it's a very long-term investment, and it's a place where we would be happy being for forever, even though I think that we would all be happier if if we had no external factors whatsoever. Spain, Italy, and Romania and Greece. Romania is really wonderful, but it doesn't have the ocean, so the Mediterranean. So I think that makes that not, even though we really like Romania, but Spain, Italy, and Greece with its Mediterranean weather and culture and food and all that, those are really the places that we would be happiest. And I think in the long term, that is where we're going to end up. Probably Spain, language being probably the biggest factor. If it wasn't for language, Greece easily would be the location. It's a little bit cheaper than Spain, and it's got the islands, which we really like the islands. But being in Spain and having trains to things, it's pretty darn nice, and Italy being Italians. Yeah. So that's what's going on today. That's Monday. See everybody tomorrow. Interesting news, you cannot stop the video recording if you cover up the camera. That's weird.